So it is 4:04 p.m. on September the 20th, 2021. A call to order the Public Works and Capital Improvement Committee meeting. Chairman Joseph A. DeLucia is present. Alderwoman Stacy Gould is also present, and Alderman Darrell Wilson will be absent today. Oops, clicked on the wrong thing. Okay. Okay, the approval of minutes. So we saw the draft minutes, or we were sent the draft minutes of our August meeting. I'll entertain a motion to adopt the minutes as submitted.
Actually, that was July meeting.
Yeah, there was no August meeting.
Oh, right. Okay, yes, thank you very much. Of the July meeting.
I'll make
So,
a motion that we accept the minutes from the July meeting, July 2021 meeting.
thank you. Seconded by the chair. Any discussion, corrections, additions or deletions from the minutes? None from me. None from Stacy. So vote to approve the minutes. Alderwoman Gould,
Yes.
and the chair votes yes. The minutes are unanimously adopted. Thank you. Item number 3 on our agenda is citizen comment. Are there any citizens in the meeting that would like to make a comment to the committee? I don't believe I saw any. No. Second time, are there any citizens that would like to make a comment to the committee? Third and final time, are there any citizens that would like to make a comment to the committee? Hearing and seeing none, I declare citizen comment session closed. Moving on to item number 4, old business. 4A is Public Works project updates. Take it away, Mr. McLaughlin.
Okay, the design of the Sherman Street Bridge is progressing along. That, Brian, I think we have a tentative advertising schedule for what, November?
Yeah, they're planning right now on advertising in November with bid openings actually right before Christmas.
All right. For our annual paving, we completed the Teddy Lane area, so that brings us up to about 4.5 miles to date for the year. Next, we're going to be doing High Street, and then moving over to Coit Street and Pearl Street area, probably late this month or early October, possibly. Then for the Franklin Square Roundabout, that Brian's, yeah, we're going to be paving it tomorrow, and pretty much it'll be just about done at that point. For New Line Turnpike, we have, we're working on the scope still. The consultant has made some tweaks to it, and we'll be sitting down and negotiate a contract with Banesh before too long here. The Granite Mill building, Brian, we're back to work on that. Brian, you can maybe update us on that.
Yep, they got back to work. I'd say a couple weeks ago. They did some more grading on the site to help stabilize the structure. Some placement of fill along the outside, and also the sloping of the land inside. They've started erecting the steel, so they'll be. They dug out for the footings for the bracing, and they've started erecting and attaching the steel skeleton, we'll call it, for the inside of the building. And they're progressing with that right now.
Okay. As you know, then we've requested additional ARP funds to further that project along and make it other than just, you know, enhancements to the park area. The sidewalk ramps on North Main were completed. The Little Plains Park fence bids came in over budget. It was about $130,000 was the lowest bid. That was a little surprising based on some of the talk previous to the bidding. But so we're going to have to get some additional funds and then rebid it in the winter for early spring work, I think. Dunham Street, we've awarded the project to American Industries at, what was that, like 1.4 million? I think, Brian? Yeah.
Yes, it was. Yep.
So the city's already actually gotten the grant funds. So we get whatever the low bid came in at, which in this case was like 1.4 million. They then allow 10% for contingencies and 10% for incidentals, which includes inspection costs and testing. So the city has already gotten the check actually for the 1.6 or $7 million that entails. Unfortunately, just like the Roundabout project, granite curbing is in short supply. So there's a long lead time on the granite curbing. And that's basically the first thing that you need to put in on a project is, before you start doing the sidewalks, you got to put the curbing in. So that is going to be, they're not going to be able to get the curbing until winter. So it'll be early spring before the curbing can be put in. So that's going to put a delay somewhat to that project. There is some certain things that can be done ahead of time, Brian. Maybe.
Yeah, I just got the schedule from American on Friday. They're looking at about 3 to 4 weeks of work, starting at the end of October, beginning in November. They're going to be doing tree removal, drainage work, utility, water, hydrant relocations, and basically everything they can do in preparation for when they get the curb in the springtime. But they have secured a commitment for the 3,700 feet of curb that's required early in the springtime. So they'll be working towards a winter shutdown in November, and then they'll be starting up with the curbing and the sidewalk in the spring and finishing the road after that.
Okay, I think that does it for can you think of anything else, Brian? I mean, we're doing a lot of in-house, we're doing a lot of repairs from the flooding events, but we'll get into that later on.
Yep.
You mentioned the Franklin Square Roundabout and then referred to Brian. I don't know, Brian, do you have anything to add to what's going on with that project?
With the roundabout?
Yeah.
No, he's pretty much kept on schedule at this point. He did have a slight delay because of the paving company that he has that's coming in to finish it, but they'll be paving tomorrow, and it should be substantially complete by next week. They need to let the pavement sit for a certain amount of time before they come in and do the pavement markings, and they'll be doing the pavement markings and the signage at the same time. I believe it's the same company that's doing both. And then at that point, other than the fact that I liked the fact while I was down there that I saw the lights going up, the decorative lights from building to building, because the timing on that is going to be very nice once the roundabout's complete, and if those lights are up and running at the same time. Did you have any questions, Joe? Or
Absolutely. Well, and this might be 2 layers or 2 levels further down in the weeds than I should go, but I was wondering about when they put the asphalt down, especially being the tail end of summer here. I'm concerned about letting the asphalt cool once it's rolled out before we start having a ton of traffic there. With it being a circle, I'm concerned that it's going to get grooved if we're immediately on it right after it's paved.
Well, he is going to keep the road closed for a certain amount of time, which is going to cause some headaches tomorrow, and keep the cars off of it after it's placed and rolled, and just to allow it to cool. I mean, on the one benefit on our side is that today, tomorrow, the next day, we have a few cooler days here where it's gonna be it's gonna be able to cool off and set much quicker than if it was in the middle of July.
Right. Well, and that makes perfect sense. And again, I just don't want anything to go wrong with these final stages of the project. I drove through there and I just couldn't help myself. Saturday night, I approached the circle from every direction and just navigate, just to drive through it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Even with the asphalt, ground down, and I just avoided all the utility, stub ups and everything.
Oh yeah.
But-
There's
but-
a
and
telephone
I was
manhole out
behind-
there.
Yeah, and I was behind a seat bus on one of the times that I went through it, and the seat bus went right around it, and like there was no problem, and it didn't even really need that run up area on the inside, that first inside circle.
Yeah,
So-
the buses do a surprisingly good job. I mean, the main, just because their axles are so much closer together to get through these city streets, the main problem and the main usage of the truck apron will be, the longer tractor trailer trucks that don't have any other option. But the VHB designed it to be a certain size for certain vehicles, and it seems like it's working well, even though there's a lot of people that shake their heads and can't believe that that I think as it's being built, and it looks a lot worse than it was. And part of the problem is that people need to realize that it's also designed to slow down and calm traffic and not allow people to go flying down Main Street 40 miles an hour.
Right.
So.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I've had that conversation with a number of people who expressed some concerns, and I said, well, I said, this is part of the design, so that you cannot just come flying into it and whip around the circle, because that's not really what the design was really all about. So
Right.
And I know we all know that, and I asked a number of people to just be patient, because they were concerned about that inside truck apron being just a berm. And I said, no. I said, there's 4 inches of asphalt that need to go down there, at least, compacted 4 inches is probably more than that, and then
Yes.
and I explained that trucks would be able to ride up on that inside apron there. And I got a lot of, oh, okay, I see your, and I'm like, oh, right, so.
Yep.
So I'm looking forward to it. But I think I'm sold on it. I love it, and I can't wait to see it finished.
I tell you, right now, they hydro seeded it, I think 2 weekends ago, and right now there's grass that's growing and coming up, and the contrast of the green grass with the red stamped concrete, I think it looks great.
Yeah.
And once we have nice fresh blacktop down there too, it's gonna, it's just gonna be even better.
Right.
Actually, that grass is just seeded on the 11th, and some of it almost needs cutting already. It's like been ideal grass growing weather.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure. So I don't really have any other questions in that. That's it. But I like the project. I like what I've seen so far, and I can't wait for it to be done.
Yep.
Okay. So moving on to 4B, property disposition.
Okay, we have finished cleaning out that Robbins Court. So that it should be, the recommendation was to put it up for sale once it's cleaned out. So that has been cleaned out now.
Great. How about what is it, 98 Washington Street, the Cassidy house?
Yeah, that one, they've I think they gave the attorney gave the tenant another extended a month on, which is another 2 or 3 weeks from now. They were supposed to be out sometime in September, but then they've extended it. But I don't think, no matter how much time we extend it, doesn't seem like they're really making an effort to get out of there, or enough of an effort.
Washington Street will be a long, drawn-out process.
Yeah, I think you're absolutely right. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, any
So-
questions?
So I
Oh,
think,
my God.
do you need to take some kind of action to take to list Robbins Court? To recommend to the to have the council give it to the real estate agent.
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we list Robbins Court for sale with the city's real estate agent.
I'll second that. Any discussion on the motion? The only thing I'll say is that that be in a form of a resolution, ultimately a resolution, Stacy, that will
Yeah, the resolution will come to the council.
yeah, right. Okay. All right. So moved and seconded. Any other discussion? Okay, so all those in favor, Stacy Gould,
Aye.
and the chair votes yes. Any opposed? No one to oppose. The motion is unanimously carried. Thank you. Okay. Anything else under property disposition, Pat?
No, but the properties there on Hunter's Road, the two large parcels that were going to be part of a condominium complex back 10, 12 years ago, which the city owns now, which recommendation was to keep those for open space. Deanna and I are meeting with the land conservancy to talk to them about managing it or something. I'm not sure if we're going to transfer it to them or not, but it's just an ongoing thing. Avalonia, the land conservancy, just so there's no action right now except that just to let you know that there's some interest with them.
Okay. Good. Any questions for the director, Stacy,
Not on that, no.
or on any other properties that we haven't discussed?
No.
Okay, thank you. Okay, so if nothing else, we'll move on to 4C, which is American Recovery Plan projects.
Okay, so yeah, we're based on your actions at the council meeting. I guess we're going to start moving forward with some of these projects. In particular, like the mill, the Yonkers Mill project. We're working on an RFP for that, RFQ for consultants to do the actual design work associated with those park improvements. And on the Browning Road water line, NPU is going to be handling that project probably because they're going to eventually be the owners of that, the water, infrastructure that's installed for that. And then also I see that you approved monies for Mohegan Park. So we're going to get to work on that, those aspects too. Now I've made additional requests from the city manager for money for drainage improvements. And I'll kind of like talk more about that probably with the flooding issues, but I had requested $500,000 for drainage improvements, like to address things like Bliss Place for one. That seems to be one of the higher priorities. That I'll talk more under the flooding part, but anyway, I had put out there with the city manager that we need some of these ARP funds, and there's still another appropriation to be made, but I was hoping to get some of that for drainage work, which is an eligible expense, such as water, sewer, and storm drainage are all eligible expenses. I don't know if you have questions about some of these projects. I'm not familiar with a lot of them, just the ones that Public Works had been involved with.
I don't have any questions. Stacy?
No, I don't. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Well, thank you for that. So if there's no more on 4C, then we'll move forward on to item A, new business, and item 5A is flooding issues that you just referred to. So go right ahead.
Yeah, we had a lot of flooding issues. I mean, we had 7 inches of rain, and most of that came down within between midnight and 3 a.m., I believe. I was actually on vacation that week up in Maine, So Brian was handling that. So maybe I'll let him talk more about that.
Okay, yeah. The first call I got from our superintendent was around 2:30 in the morning. And from what I've spoken to some of the residents about on that drainage basin that eventually winds up on Bliss Place and down in the hospital parking lot, is that the bulk of the flood all happened around that time, right before 3 o'clock in the morning, and it just kind of came out of nowhere. The 7.5 inches of rain that we got, the bulk of that, I believe, was between, like Pat said, midnight and 2:30 in the morning, and it took out a good swath of territory coming down from the back of Kelly Middle School all the way down Sachem Plains, and Huntington Place got beat up pretty bad, as well as, Rogan Terrace and Bliss Place, the typical. And from what I heard, I didn't see it, they said that there was water up on car doors out down in the hospital parking lot. That was probably our worst section of town, but we had flooding going on pretty much everywhere around town. The bottom of K Street, another common offender, was probably the second worst. We had washouts off of Atrabando, right by the intersection of Walwekis. It went on and on. There were multiple areas that needed attention, and then days and in the following week after the storm, we started dealing with washouts and cave-ins that were most likely a result of the storm, but didn't show their face until a little while later. If you want any more details on any specific areas, I can try to help out if there's anything that you have actual specific questions about.
Well, I really don't have a question. I guess it seems to me that, 7.5 inches in less than 3 hours is just not something that you're going to manage. You're going to be the victim of it, and the water's going to do what it wants to do. I mean,
Yeah.
I had about 3 or so inches of standing water everywhere in my yard because it just couldn't percolate into the ground fast enough. That's how hard it was coming down up in where Stacy and I live. So, yeah, there's certain things that you're just not, your systems are going to get overwhelmed, but we know what the trouble spots are, and it seems to me like we're at least teeing them up to get to be addressed as best we can.
Yep, we've assembled a pretty good inventory and prioritization of the areas that are most desperate need of some of this additional funding if we can get it. So we currently have a bid out for proposals for on-call engineering services, which in the case of these projects coming up this quickly, it will hopefully we'll be able to get them designed and out for construction a lot quicker without having to go through an additional bidding process for each and every job as it comes along. So,
Right. Anything on this issue, Stacy?
No, I mean, you're right. When you have 7 inches of rain in 3 hours, not too many systems can handle that.
Yeah.
we just don't design for that. You can't.
I don't think anybody can.
No, you can't. They can't. It's just, but yeah. And I will say, of the people that I spoke to after this, the majority of them understood that. I mean, they still want help and they still want things to be fixed to a certain extent. And I would tell them in most cases, we'd like to do some improvements here, but it still wouldn't be something that would handle what happened that day. And they get that.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Okay. Right then, moving on to 5B, aerial tree truck replacement. I saw a couple of pictures of a truck completely engulfed in flames.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that also happened while Pat was on vacation.
Yeah.
yeah, I can't take any credit for that.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that it was it's totaled. I mean, that
Yeah.
was a truck that we had got. I think it's a 1999 chassis. We had gotten from Public Utilities as a hand-me-down. We've had it for, I don't know, quite a while now, 5 or 6 years probably at least. But it's a total loss. They're still checking to see how much, if any, insurance we'll be able to get out of it. But the cost of a new truck is about little over $180,000.
Oof.
But it's something that we need really bad, and I've already started talking to the city manager about it. Not sure how we'll need to start looking. I need to start looking for monies, but the need is there, and because we do a lot of tree work.
Mhm.
Does Public Utilities have another hand-me-down that they can spare?
No, they don't actually. Their trucks don't really serve. Our purpose would be better served by a different style of truck. It's with the lift coming up out of the rear of the truck and with no chipper box on the truck. Because if you're using it just to cut trees, it's better. Because we always, when we send out a crew, when we have the aerial truck going out, we have a whole crew of people going with it. It's not just like 2 people. So we bring another vehicle to do the chipping and blow the chips into another truck. So the truck that we want going forward is just a lift truck. It doesn't have a chipper box on the back of it too, which does make it a little bit less expensive, but it'll serve our purpose better. But their trucks, the ones that they've got now are like natural gas trucks, and they've had bad time maintaining them, it sounds like. So I think we want to go out and get something on our own that'll serve our purposes better.
Okay, well, I mean, well, there's no denying that you need the lift truck. I mean, I agree with you. You guys definitely do a lot of tree work.
So
Okay.
I'll keep you posted on it. You'll hear, hopefully there'll be a resolution at some point to somehow appropriate some capital money toward that.
Okay. And then item 5C, roadway safety.
Yeah, that was kind of the one items. I wasn't sure how to paraphrase that, but that was the items you were talking about for speed and some other.
Well, Plain Hill Road, I'm getting a number of phone calls and emails from people that live on or around the Plain Hill Road area. I mean, and it's not surprising. People are out walking around. The weather's been nice. They're walking up and down the hill. They're walking around in the neighborhoods, and now people are also getting out, and traffic is increasing. And when those two things happen on a road that's windy and hilly and doesn't have sidewalks, some somewhat scary situations happen. So the people that I spoke to were very level-headed about it, but they would like to see the type of signage that was put on Canterbury Turnpike, reminding people to give 3 feet off the curb for pedestrians and bicyclists, right? And then I've already brought it up at public safety about putting out the speed enforcement and the speed reminder stuff, equipment that the police department has, and to get people to be a little more conscious of their speed, because Plain Hill Road, it can be it could be like a roller coaster ride if you want to get in the gas pedal a little bit, but it can get out of hand pretty quickly as soon as you put a couple pedestrians on the street. Nobody's asking for sidewalks up and down, but they're just looking for ways that they could safely walk on the road. One of one of the things was actually a compliment to your department, Pat, was that before they could even ask to get the edges of the road brush cut, they were done, you know? So they were like, oh, you know, one said, oh, I felt so much better, and the brush was cut and I didn't even have to call. So, you know, kudos for that one. But you know, there's other elements there. So I guess the only part that we could probably talk about would be that signage piece. I don't know where that signage came from on Canterbury Turnpike, or how we would go about that, or maybe you can help us out.
Yeah, well, I think that those signs were for bicycles, but it would, I guess, pertain to pedestrians too. Once people see the signs, that's a
Right.
state law. You're supposed to give a bicycle 3 feet. But that was Canterbury Turnpike was like identified as a bicycle corridor, so that's why those signs got put there.
Hmm.
But I
So-
mean, you could look at possibly putting a couple of them up on Plain Hill Road.
Okay, all right. And, you know, and again, it's like any of the roads where I think we have the same challenge, where it's going to be, you know, multi-layer. And of course, there's always one or two people that say speed bumps, and I'll be like, okay, no, we're not going to do speed bumps, because that just makes the road more dangerous, you know, in most cases, you know. But you know, the people that live along in that area, you know, I think they deserve to be able to walk along the edge of the road and not take their lives in their hands. Whatever we can do to support that.
Yeah, it's not a
Would be
very wide
appreciated.
road.
No, not at all. So I just wanted to put it on your radar, and, you know, whatever ideas that you might have would be welcome, you know.
We'll take a look at that.
Other than that, I don't think that I had anything regarding roadway safety. Stacy? Anything coming to you that we should discuss?
I don't have anything, no.
Yeah, okay. All right, well then, moving on to item number 6, other business. I think I'll take the opportunity under other business. I sent the email, I want to say it was this weekend, and you responded today, Pat. Is it 1 of 3, 2 of 3, and 3 of 3?
Yeah, those are pictures of current
Yeah.
conditions.
Yeah, right. Of the fireman's park there that is on the corner of School Street, and is that Merchants Ave there or Providence Street?
Merchants.
It is Merchants. That's what I thought. Thank you.
I just call it 169 because I
yeah.
can't keep it straight.
Right. I don't know where the break is either. I'll be honest with you, but regardless, it is city-owned property. You know, I don't know how the park came to be in existence, but
So it's one of these things where we've never had any involvement with it.
Right.
You know, it was like, I guess, I don't know how long it's been there. Brian found a little history on it, but you want to go through that little history now, as far as just looking at Google Earth, you know?
Yeah, it actually turns out that the street view on Google Earth has a pretty good pictorial history going back to about 2008. Can I share my screen, Joe?
I'll tell you what. Let me check. Let's see. Share screens. I'm gonna say one can share at a time. And hold on one sec. Okay. There you go.
Okay, so I'm sharing right now. I haven't done this before, so bear with me. Can you see this
Actually,
picture?
Perfect.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
perfect.
So this is 2008. Again, I don't know. I don't know if
I think
anyone knows.
That was
When
probably built just that, you know, it's probably brand new or a year old, maybe, looking at those bushes.
It looks like it was freshly constructed. The spreading junipers are all still spaced out, the little green dots that are behind the wall and everything.
Mhm.
So this was 2008. And then if you click forward onto 2011, it's already grown over the walls. I don't know what's going on out in the back because it kind of looks like a weed garden. there's no flag flying. So if you fast forward to 2013, it's no different. The weeds have gotten taller.
Looks pretty bad in 2013.
Yeah, the wall is almost completely invisible on the right-hand side over here. You can't see half the writing on the monument rock over on the right-hand side. 2018, it looks like somebody got together, had a little project, community project or something. Now there's a flag flying. You can see mulch in the planting beds and the hillsides, and I'm not sure how this happened, but it looks like sometime before.
I can give you some history on that. The Lions Club and Rotary got together, and we came over to help them because I was there working on that project in 18. And that's how it got cleaned up. We had
So the Rotary came and assisted.
Yes, the Rotary came and assisted the Lions Club.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. It looks like they did quite a bit of job, quite a good job of cleaning it up. And
yeah, it wasn't a one-day project. We weren't there.
No,
that's obvious.
Yeah,
Right?
I mean, so anyways, yeah, that's up to 2018, and you can see what it looks like now from past pictures.
Yeah,
So.
my pictures, it's yeah, I don't think anybody's pulled a weed since 2018 then. Looking at this, and because it looked beautiful, it looks quite nice then in 2018. Yep. And it's pretty bad today. It's like I'd be afraid to send our guys out there because they wouldn't, they would have to cut everything. I mean, they would, you can't tell what's a weed and what's these bushes almost unless you go through there very slowly. And that's another thing. I just, we've been getting, we have more stuff to maintain now, like the Ruley Park we have been maintaining. That's a new park that was built like 3 years ago. Here we got cut back a position this year. We're down a labor, the council cut it out of our, the city manager had it back in the laborer's position, but then the council cut it back out of our budget for this year. So we're down a laborer again. And it's, we just can't keep doing more with less, basically.
And where's the picture for now? I mean, I ride by there all the time, and it just looks like.
It's bad, yeah.
Can you still see that? That's Pat's picture from today, I believe.
Yeah.
Yeah, you really can't, everything. It's yeah, I don't think you'll be able to blow it up.
No, it's all right.
Yeah, we can see it.
It hasn't been maintained since your efforts in 2018. Now, that would be my suggestion again, like maybe the Rotary could help them out again, because the Rotary does do a lot of little projects, and I'm not sure what, the time frame they're looking at, but it's been neglected for a couple of years, since 2018, basically. It's not just something that popped up this summer.
Right. No. It's obvious in the pictures. In 3 years, it has been sorely neglected.
Yeah.
And even before then, I mean, it looks like your efforts back in 2018, it came out really nice when they actually did it, but all the way from
nobody maintained it prior to 2018, and now it's just it's back to a very poor condition.
I guess my question would be, who spearheaded the creation of this park? And
actually, the Lions Club did.
Okay.
This was not a Taffville Fire Department project.
Okay.
Okay. So I don't,
And I saw Nancy's letter that they want to maintain just the bottom. Well, they've done nothing at the bottom to maintain that either for 3 years.
Yeah, the bottom's totally overgrown too, and the flag doesn't look like the flag's
not flying.
Well, I don't. It looks like the rope for the flagpole is maybe in disarray too, that you couldn't even raise a flag if you tried. Yeah, I don't know. It might have been a good idea at the time that the Lions Club thought of it, but
Right. Well, I think the scope of the project was too big for them to maintain. You know, the Lions Club is a very small organization now. It's not like it was, 30 years ago when people belonged to the Lions and you had a club of 50. You maybe have a club now of 10, and there's no 20-somethings that have joined the Lions Club who want to go out there and for 4 or 5 hours, work their fingers to the bone. But I think that Nancy McLett should try reaching out, maybe not to a Lions Club, but maybe to Boy Scouts, Rotary Community Corps, and see if they can't, not tackle the whole thing at once, but start in a section and work their way backwards.
yeah,
Right.
start at the front.
And
Right.
I realized that the property is owned by the city. Work their way from the sidewalk back, and see what what resources they can't tap for some free labor. Because like you said, Pat, your guys cannot be expected to go in there and say, oh, watch out for the juniper. Oh, watch out for the azalea. Watch out for the rhododendron. We're talking about going in with a weed whacker and just taking everything down.
Yeah, in fact, from her letter, I wasn't sure, almost like maybe that's what she was intending, just to wipe the whole thing out almost, because it said something about replanting too, in her letter. But yeah,
Well, and and Stacy mentioned the Boy Scouts. I mean, I know that the numbers in the Boy Scouts have dropped as well, but those kids are always looking for service projects,
yeah,
so that they can make rank or make their next rank.
yeah,
And some are doing, last time I was on the Harbor Commission, one kid wanted to do an osprey nest, and it was just a great project, but siting it was a challenge, right? And I think we finally worked it out. But something like this, where every time a kid is looking, maybe not their Eagle project, because that's supposed to be a big deal, but the Star Project and the Life Project, making those ranks, could be organizing a group, spending a weekend there, and doing as much as they can of just pulling weeds, right? I mean, to me, that's a service project that's worthy of what their parameters are, and is a true service project to that neighborhood, right? And to the intent of that little park. I read the letter too, and I was like, well, if we just go in there and blast the thing, then it's just going to end up being another overgrown piece of property that, with nothing on it, and I don't know, I'd like to avoid that. I mean, I think that anybody's ever pulled a weed knows the difference between the weed and the juniper plant, right? I mean,
I could think so. But in her letter, she says, we want your assistance in cutting down and removing the weeds permanently and maintaining it. Once the weeds are not growing back, we can't plant bushes and flowers without weeds taking over. We have tried multiple weed killers with no success. We will continue to maintain the lower area where the flagpole and bricks of the deceased members are located.
Yeah.
So I'll reach out I don't have a problem reaching out to Nancy and saying, let's try to see if we can't find Boy Scouts, Rotary, somebody else to help you, do this. That the Public Works right now cannot make a commitment to going in and pulling weeds. And see how she makes out. I give her some, I know a couple of troop leaders. Maybe the Young Marines can help.
Right.
There's a lot of service organizations, and it would be an outside project, et cetera, et cetera.
and it's certainly a community project.
And it could be so I think if I give Nancy some resources to try to reach out to, she may have better success. And if she only wants weeds pulled, That means somebody has to be there that has a plan of what was planted, so that they identify, take that out, leave that, take that out, leave
Yeah,
that.
right. Yeah. That and just somebody who knows, knows a little bit about plants, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Well. Uh,
So I think
but
our commitment should, if we're even gonna take it up, I would postpone making any commitment to this until she's had some time to reach out to some of these service organizations that may or may not be able to help her out.
yeah, I agree with you. I think that's the way for us to handle it. And if you want to reach out and provide her with those ideas and those resources, and that would be helpful. I would appreciate that.
Yeah, because I
then
know a couple of Boy Scout troop, leaders.
Yeah,
I can give her the Young Marines. I'll
Yeah.
give her some contacts for Rotary and Rotary Community Corps, and see how, she can make out, with them giving her some help if they're able.
absolutely.
Yeah, sounds like an excellent idea to me.
Hmm.
Public Works doesn't need to, any more work that it already has.
Agreed. Okay. Okay, so anything else under other business? I don't have anything. All right, so with that, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion to adjourn.
Seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We are adjourned at 4:50 PM. Thank you all very much. And I will see you all soon.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Have a nice evening.
You too.
Thank you.